Welcome back. This is Still the Fertile, and we have been discussing breastfeeding, why it is important to breastfeed your baby and all the benefits that breastfeeding has for your baby. And the doctor, like she rightly told us, that breast milk has all the necessary nutrients that the baby needs for at least the first 6 months of life. Now, let's take it a step back to the daddies now, husbands. How can they help the woman, through this process of breastfeeding? Now, I saw a funny post somewhere where somebody said, "Dear future children, you will drink milk. Breast is for daddy." I laughed, and then I'm like, is that something that should be encouraged? Breast is it for daddy now or is for the baby? Please, doctor, tell
Breast milk is
it's
for
the baby. Okay. All right.
And during that period, that is what is produced.
Okay.
So I'm sure daddy does not want to be drinking breast milk
at that
meant
time,
for the
please.
baby. From what I hear, it is not sweet.
Well.
So it's not something that should be palatable to the daddy's taste buds. But that was on a lighter note. But daddies need to be very supportive.
At that time.
Right from the pregnancy period to childbirth to post-childbirth. This is your child. Both of you have a child. So it needs to be a joint process.
Okay.
For a good number of women, even first-time mothers, it can be a very, very, very tasking time.
Yes.
And they need all the support that they can get.
Even from their
parents, their husbands, relatives who are around, everybody who can help lessen the burden on them. Because you will discover that babies most times don't sleep very much at night.
Yes.
And the mother is also sleep deprived and during the day is awake as well because she still has to feed the child. So they need the support from the husbands and the fathers. So, for example, if mommy was awake during the day, working, tending to the baby, feeding the baby, at night, if you've expressed milk, daddy can take over the duties and feed the baby.
Okay, and they're not deserting the woman because at that time, breast is not accessible. So baby is the one, in taking the milk right now. So they just, stay away, nothing like that.
The daddies should be part of the process.
Okay.
If you need to just sit and rub her back or be her pillow, let her lean on you while she's feeding the baby.
That was a very, very funny post, I felt like this kind of person would desert his wife during breastfeeding because he felt like the breasts are no longer accessible at the time. So you guys just stay there until it gets to my turn, until it's my time and all of that. So please, husbands, daddies, try as much as you can to support your wives through the process of breastfeeding, because to some, like you said, to some new mothers, it is a new phase for them, and it can be really tasking. And all the support you can give will be really appreciated. Now, that will take me to my next question. Okay. You see a lot of women now, they go about the whole thing of, should I be breastfeeding? This breastfeeding thing is archaic. It was done by our parents, our grandparents, and all of that. It's old-fashioned. I can easily just walk into a store and get, a baby formula for my baby, and then I won't be stressed. I won't be worried whether the baby is feeding or getting enough or not. So is that advisable?
The fact that our parents breastfed is the reason why we are this healthy.
Okay.
And strong is the reason why we are well-developed adults, because they gave us the proper nutrition when we were children. So nobody should say it is okay to breastfeed a child.
And so, modern women, the whole thing is there are
1,000,001 things that will cause your breasts to sag, and breastfeeding is not at the top of that list.
Okay.
It is probably not even in the first 5.
Okay.
Because some women think, because of the fact that during pregnancy the breast is engorged with milk and women's breast sizes will usually maybe double or triple. It differs based on the individual involved. But because there's increase in breast size, and then after breastfeeding, of course, the breasts will go back to what they were before they got engorged. So for some people, they mistake that for reduction in breast size because of breastfeeding, but that is not the case. Because if you take into consideration your pre-pregnancy breast size and post-breastfeeding breast size, is possibly the same thing.
Okay. So breastfeeding doesn't increase the size of breasts?
No, pregnancy causes the breasts to get engorged.
Okay.
So that is what causes the breast to increase in size, because the milk ducts in the breast are getting filled up with milk for the baby.
In preparation for the arrival of the baby.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So just use supportive bras. that will hold the weight of the breasts
Okay.
during the breastfeeding period, so that
Okay.
gravity does not act on them, because gravity is the number one enemy of anything that is up. It will come down. Exactly.
Okay.
So gravity is what you should be bothered about. So very supportive breastfeeding bras that will hold your breasts together and ensure that the weight of the engorgement of the breast is not causing
Pulling
them
it down. Okay.
Exactly, to weigh down. But there are other factors that will cause breasts to sag, whether or not a woman gets pregnant or breastfeeds ever in her life. Gravity and age is number one.
Is one.
Whatever you do, there are people whose breasts will sag as they age. It's
Yeah.
not something that is very controllable. You may not necessarily be able to control it naturally. You can control it artificially, of course. Yes, smoking will also cause breasts to
Sagging.
sag.
Lifestyle.
Yes.
Okay.
Lifestyle, yes, exactly. So lifestyle and habits can cause your breasts to sag. Rigorous exercise as well can cause your breasts to sag.
So it's not just about
It
breastfeeding.
is not. just
Whether
about
you breastfeed or not.
At some point, they
At
will
some
sag.
point, there was breastfeeding alone, like she has said, is not what makes saggy boobs. The law of gravity will take its course on those boobs. So why don't you just breastfeed and be proud of the boobs when they eventually,
Right,
you know?
maybe a child would help.
All right, so we'll go on another short break now. We will be back shortly. Okay, we're back on the Fertile, and we have been discussing breastfeeding. So, doctor, now I want to know something. Some people say they breastfeed and wean their baby of breastfeeding after 3 months. I've heard that. And I've also seen some people say, okay, after 6 months, it's not really necessary to breastfeed a baby. After all, I breastfed exclusively for 6 months. Can you tell us more about that and the dangers in all of that?
You should exclusively breastfeed for 6 months.
For 6 months. That's what is
Only breast
recommended.
milk.
Okay.
Yes, as long as all of the other factors that are preventing the mother from breastfeeding are not there. In the ideal condition, you should exclusively breastfeed for 6 months.
Okay.
After 6 months, you are not stopping breastfeeding. You are supplementing the breast milk, because at this point the child has grown bigger,
Okay.
right? More energy needs, and then you can now begin to introduce semi-solids, purees, so you
Okay.
can have fruits and vegetables that are blended or
For
mashed,
the baby.
carbohydrates, protein, so you can have mashed potatoes, yams, eggs, just in semi-solid form that the child can take in addition to
breast milk. Now,
So
you're not just giving the baby food and then leaving breast
you
milk
are supplementing
Okay.
the breast milk.
Okay.
Yes. So you should breastfeed for at least 1 year.
At least.
At least.
At least.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
You supplement with semi-solids and other family foods from 6 months. World Health Organization actually says you can breastfeed up to 2 years.
But oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay, but at 1 year, baby already has, those teeth.
Yes, has begun to... some babies are
They will start
calm.
babbling and trying to talk
Yes.
and all that. With that, they will still be sucking.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I mean, you see babies who are walking still so cool.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's a lot.
Yes. So you can begin to wean off the baby from breast milk from 1 year and above. You
Okay.
can begin to wean and just make sure that the child is eating family foods and semi-solids and soft solids. Yes, but you can breastfeed up to 2 years.
Up
You
to
can
2 years. That is
breastfeed up
WHO's
to 2 years.
recommendation.
Yes.
Wow, that is something.
Yes.
2 good years. At 2, and some babies are already, in crèche
Getting
and all
ready to
that.
go to crèche,
So
yes.
how do you do? You express and keep in the bottle for the baby to take to school?
Well, that is why a good number of mothers will wean after about a year and a couple of months, so that the child is tolerating other foods, and if the mother or if the child has to start kindergarten or crèche or whatever, the child can take food that the mother prepares to crèche and then is fed that by the minders.
Okay, now I'm aware that the recommendation says 6 months exclusively, and then we try talking about factors that can prevent a mother from, breastfeeding like that. So now I want to ask, for a situation where a woman is maybe sick or not producing enough breast milk for the baby, like instead of just saying, okay, I'm breastfeeding, but the baby is not getting enough milk, is it advisable to use formula to supplement in that situation?
Yes.
Okay.
After all of the things we say about exclusive breastfeeding and how amazing it is for the children, the end point of the story is that a fed baby is best.
Okay.
So in your bid to exclusively breastfeed, you don't undernourish your child, or keep your child hungry, because your breasts are not producing enough milk to feed the energy needs of the child.
Okay.
So if you're not lactating enough, or there are other factors preventing the mother from producing adequate breast milk, or the mother is not available, formula feed the child.
Baby.
Yes.
Okay.
In formula feeding, you have to be careful because extremely good hygiene is important.
Very important.
The feeding utensils, how you clean them, how you store them, and all of these things, they have to be kept very clean. So
and
that
then milk are easily contaminated.
Exactly. Okay. So it has to be a very clean process.
Okay.
So the utensils, the milk, all of the things that are used, how you sterilize them, you have to make sure that they are in optimal condition so that you are not inadvertently introducing infections
to the
into
baby.
the meals of the child.
Okay. Yes. Now, let's take this now. I want to ask, now, is breastfeeding a Nigerian thing, an African thing, or is it something that every woman all over the world, should do? Because I heard a lady, or we were talking one day, and she was like, she doesn't really need to breastfeed. All these white women, do they breastfeed? Should we be copying things that, in the Western world? Everything. Should we copy everything? I don't know.
You would actually find that the biggest advocates for exclusive breastfeeding are not even Nigerians or Africans.
Okay. Yeah. You see, so why are we copying the wrong thing?
There are actual groups that make it their job to do activism.
Okay.
For breastfeeding, ensuring that mothers are breastfeeding their babies exclusively and then supplementally and all of that. Okay. So it's not a Nigerian thing.
It's not a Nigerian
thing.
It's not an African
thing. It's a worldwide thing. Children all over the world.
All the world. Women, white women, Asians, they're all breastfeeding their baby. This woke generation of ours are always
let's not be woke to the detriment of our babies.
Please, let's not be woke to the detriment of our young ones.
Absolutely.
Breastfeeding is extremely important. Please, we cannot overemphasize that. It is very, very important for you to breastfeed your baby at least for the first 6 months exclusively. And she has said, if you cannot do it for 6 months exclusively, at least for 3 months, then start putting supplements if you have to go back to work, or you in a condition where you cannot breastfeed, or you're not producing enough milk for the baby. You can now supplement with formula, but make sure they are in
at least try
to give more of the breast milk.
Yes.
And then if you're going to use formula to supplement, make sure your utensils are clean and that your hands are also very clean, so you don't go and introduce infection and all the other things to the baby through the milk. That will be all on The Factor today. Till we'll come your way again next time. Dr. Kidei, thank you so much for this wonderful information.
I really enjoyed discussing this.
Oh, definitely. I've learned so much today, and I'm sure somebody out there has as well. For all the mothers and all the intending mothers out there, as much as you can, breastfeed your baby, because it is very important for the mother and the child. Till I come your way again next time, please stay good, stay healthy. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.